When you see this symbol, you know you're watching television that's educational and informational. The More You Know on NBC.
Hi everyone, I'm Dreyer. Grab your coat because today we'll see how animals adapt in the wildest of winters. This is Earth Odyssey.
Today we'll head to extremely cold habitats to find out how animals adapt in the wildest of winters, including this mountain dweller doing his best to hide in plain sight. And this cute cub is out of hibernation and looking for more than the bare necessities. Plus, sometimes the only solution to shivering is a long flight south for the winter. But first, biology isn't everything in the Antarctic. How one species determines its fate with behavior that looks a lot like love. This and much more right now on Earth Odyssey.
The Earth's climate can range from downright sweltering to unbearably frigid. Each year, as temperatures, seasons, and food supplies change, animals adapt in astonishing ways. Some hibernate, some migrate, but other animals survive and thrive in unimaginably tough conditions. We begin with the story of one species' incredible social solution to life in the coldest place on Earth.
Antarctica is an extreme world. Gusts can exceed 185 miles per hour. And temperatures can drop more than 70 degrees below zero. Few can survive such conditions. But there's one resident that battles the Antarctic winter in a bid to bring new life into the world. The emperor penguin. The largest of the world's penguin species, the emperor penguin stands almost 4 feet tall and can weigh up to 90 pounds. These birds don't fly. They spend most of their lives at sea, hunting for food. But in winter, when temperatures plummet and the sea ice platform grows thick enough, emperor penguins leave the sea and march to old breeding grounds. They'll trek up to 75 miles to get to the perfect, familiar spot. A chorus of noisy courtship erupts as past parenting partners reunite. They recognize each other by their unique calls. Around a month later, each female lays a single egg. She passes it to her mate, along with a heavy responsibility. There is nothing organic on the ice pack to build a warm winter's nest with. So he carries the egg on top of his feet, covering it with a thick layer of skin and feathers on his belly called a brood pouch. His task is to keep the egg and the nestling inside, safe and warm, while his mate journeys for food. It will be a test of fatherly endurance. They stand together and turn their backs, creating a circle of heat. Constantly moving, they take turns shielding the other penguins from the onslaught of stinging ice. Together, the emperor penguins battle the weather for weeks on end, waiting for the females to return to the breeding colony. After 65 days, the eggs begin to hatch. By this time, some males have endured 4 months without a meal. They've lost half their body weight, and the newborn chicks need to eat. The females are finally on their way home with a belly full of food for the young. Not a moment too soon. Even though he is starving, the father is reluctant to hand over the baby chick. He has faced so much to protect his precious cargo. But now it's his turn to leave the colony and find seafood for himself and the growing chicks. It will take the chicks another 50 days to grow enough fat and feathers to swim and feed on their own. Until then, their eternally patient penguin parents will continue to give them shelter from the storms of eastern Antarctica. Coming up, his snow-white coat is the perfect camouflage, but only if he can stay perfectly still. And they're a flock when they fly, but a gaggle on the ground. We get into the heart of this gregarious group. Plus, hibernation is much more than a long winter's nap. Just ask this new arrival when Earth Odyssey continues.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
For more than 700 miles, the European Alps form a continuous chain of peaks and chasms. Temperature fluctuations can exceed 140 degrees Fahrenheit between sun and shade. To survive in such a demanding environment, animals have evolved improvements in the performance of their blood, lungs, and heart. In winter, at high altitudes, the difference between an animal's body temperature and the outside temperature can be more than 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The thick fur of the ibex, an iconic wild goat, changes with the seasons and the temperature. By raising and lowering the hairs of its fur coat, the animal varies the amount of trapped air it contains, effectively regulating the heat that escapes to the outside. In the long months when food sources are both rare and also have little nutritional value, anything that allows the saving of heat can prove to be vital. Even foxes living at high altitudes have a much thicker coat. A European red fox can sit for hours protected from the cold. He can survive temperatures as low as -5 degrees Fahrenheit. But to do that, he'll have to hide his face, the part least well covered, beneath his tail. It must save energy for a style of hunting that is highly demanding, wandering continuously in search of something to put in its mouth. Driven by hunger, he's cautious, but always curious. This vole has dozens of hiding places and escape routes under the snow. The red fox's hearing is sharp enough to hear the rodents burrowing underground, but not today. Disappointments are not unusual in the scarcity of winter. But it's not enough for an animal just to grow a thicker coat when it snows. A change of season brings a transformation in the environment so dramatic that one inhabitant of high altitudes needs to alter its physical appearance by changing color. The alpine hare morphs from summer gray to winter white. Only the tips of its ears remain black. In his winter white coat, the hare becomes less visible to predators, but even more importantly, it is better insulated. Each individual white hair on its fur coat has microscopic spaces filled with air, acting as insulation. This extra warmth really helps at dusk, the animal's most active period. The cold at night becomes more penetrating. Thick fur on his feet functions like snowshoes to keep the hare moving on top of the deep snow. The survival of this alpine animal depends on the protection offered by a coat that must be kept perfectly groomed, even down to removing tiny balls of snow that remain attached. When day breaks, the hare must redouble its attention. Even though he's camouflaged in white and highly alert, the slightest of movements can be spotted by the most efficient predator in this environment. The golden eagle. Unlike rabbits, hares live entirely above ground without a burrow for protection. But today is this hare's lucky day. He'll keep his place high in the Alps, waiting for the warmth of spring. Coming up, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Come along on an epic winter migration. Plus, meet an elusive mountain mama and her new cub. Find out how they make it through winter in the world's tallest mountains when Earth Odyssey comes right back.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
For creatures who live their life on the wing, the gales of winter bring unique challenges and opportunities. Unlike many species, birds are natural escape artists, and often those who can migrate do. But for some, that can mean a harrowing journey of thousands of miles or more.
When winter comes to the mountains, birds face hardships like any other animal. But one larger northern European bird species prefers to leave the hunger-inducing hardships of winter behind. It's famous for its long winter migration and orderly patterns in flight. Wild geese fly south to coastal Italy for the winter, from as far north as the Arctic Circle. Their V-shaped formations help conserve energy. The position of front goose rotates between all members of the flock, so no bird gets too tired. It's a deafening chorus of thousands. More than 5,000 individuals gather in this protected coastal park every winter. During the day, they travel to nearby farms of wheat fields to feed on the shoots. As a gregarious animal, the wild goose can rely on an effective surveillance service, with lookouts ready to detect any movement. The agile marsh harrier is too small to worry these large birds. Indeed, they seem to be ignoring it altogether and continue focusing on their main activity, eating. A nearby fox, on the other hand, is a real threat. Its presence hasn't gone unnoticed. Sentries sound the alarm, and the fox realizes it has no chance. Common cranes also flock to this civilized winter oasis to escape the northern cold and food scarcity. Both avian species are determined to make the most of the rich advantages here, enjoying a little Italian food before the long flight home in summer. Coming up, sometimes the only solution to an impossible winter is to hunker down and wait. But just how do these two survive for months without food? Don't go away. Earth Odyssey will be right back.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
The Himalayas cover almost 250,000 square miles of skyscraping mountains and separate the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau. At the western end of the range, 10,000 feet up, is a desolate zone where only the hardiest animals survive, including one of the Himalayas' largest and most elusive species. The Himalayan brown bear. It's early spring. A female has emerged from her den after a 5-month hibernation. Hibernation allows the bear to get through the food scarcity and extreme cold of winter, but it's not the same at all as sleeping. Safe in the den, her breathing, heart rate, and even brain activity drop to an extremely low rate, conserving energy for a few weeks before cycling back up, then down again. She hasn't eaten since autumn and has lost almost 30% of her body weight. And now she's got an extra mouth to feed. Born in his mother's den, this cub is experiencing everything outside for the first time. It's a scary new world. At this altitude, he'll grow slowly. Food is scarce, and the air is thin. He'll stay with his mother for 2.5 more years. 6 months longer than the cub of a North American grizzly. He's a true mama's boy, which will help him learn the skills a large mammal needs to survive at such high altitude. Today's lesson, finding food in a barren landscape. There are no fruits or berries on these slopes, and protein is hard to come by. Even at 320 pounds, the mother is less than half the size of her North American cousins. Long claws and a powerful build help her tear through the ground for grasses and roots to eat. But the cub is easily distracted. While he takes a break from the classroom, the mother finds a sunny resting spot. But they're not alone on the slopes. Himalayan ibex are foraging higher up. As the large goats maneuver across the steep ground, it becomes loose. In this landscape, falling debris can often grow into an avalanche of rock. Even half asleep, the bear mother hears the stones coming. No landslide this time, but her afternoon nap is ruined. Maybe higher up in the mountain, her cub can continue his lesson in foraging.
We've just seen how the challenges of the seasons brings out the best in animals' adaptive creativity. We hope you enjoyed learning how our fellow Earthlings cope with scarcity, cold, and other species during their wild winters. Thanks for watching. I'm Dreyer. See you next time on Earth Odyssey.